Welcome back to Disturbed Reality. Mexican cartels film executions for several tactical reasons, leveraging these videos as a tool for intimidation, propaganda, and control. The primary aim, of course, is to instill fear among rival cartels, local populations, law enforcement, and government officials. By showcasing their brutality, cartels send a clear message that resistance or disobedience will be met with extreme violence. Cartels use these videos to build their reputation for ruthlessness and power. This helps in solidifying their position and dominance in the drug trade and other illegal activities. The videos can also serve as a recruitment tool, attracting individuals who are drawn to the power, fearlessness, and notoriety associated with cartel life. CJNG in particular have adopted this approach when it comes to recruitment, in opposed to the method of the Sinaloa cartel, who tend to flood social media with images of money, parties, and women. Cartel Jalisco, on the other hand, assert an image of power, dominance, and violence, showcasing graphic executions, as well as flexing in choreographed videos showcasing their array of firearms. CJNG offer the dream of a brotherhood, bonded by blood and power, whereas the Sinaloa cartel advertise the old-school hedonistic money, women, and fame approach. By publicly displaying their ability to carry out such acts with impunity, cartels assert their authority and undermine the power and legitimacy of the state. Repeated exposure to extreme violence can desensitize both the public and law enforcement to brutality, making it easier for cartels to operate in a culture of normalized violence. There are multiple reasons as to why Mexican drug cartels release such videos, and their effectiveness cannot be understated. In today's video, we will discuss 3 lesser-known cartel videos, albeit extremely gruesome. But nevertheless, let's get into the grim topic at hand. Number 1. Cartel Del Sur Screwdriver Video. Cartel Del Sur, or in English the Southern Cartel, not to be confused with Cartel del Pacifico Sur, are a criminal faction that originated in the cartel-infested state of Guerrero. The group began in 2014 as a self-described self-defense group, though in reality they were an offshoot of a group known as Cartel de los Rojos, or in English, the Red Cartel. The Red Cartel formed in the late 2000s as an offshoot of the Beltran-Leyva organization. Cartel del Sur spent its early years fighting against the Red Cartel across Guerrero State, though they would later also go to war with the infamous Guerreros Unidos, one of the state's most ruthless cartels. The group is commanded by Isaac Navarrete Celis, who, although has denied being the leader of a criminal organization, he has been tied to the trafficking of heroin. As the years have passed, the group have gained notoriety in the region for their willingness to fight fire with fire, whether that be against rivals or even local authorities. On the 15th of December 2015, 19 bodies were found at the bottom of a ravine among stones and brush. The dead were likely to be members of a local defense group known as the United Front of Community Police of the state of Guerrero, led by Onesimo Marquina El Necho. 8 of the bodies were left charred and showed severe signs of torture. On the 26th of December 2019, members of the Southern Cartel ambushed a group of soldiers in the town of Balsama in the municipality of Leonardo Bravo. The ambush left 3 soldiers dead, 2 hitmen dead, and several soldiers wounded. The group is also known to carry out violence against local criminals in the region in which they operate, trying to keep up the appearance that they are protectors and not predators. They are known for dishing out punishments to thieves, extorters, and drug pushers who are not affiliated with them. These punishments include executions. One such incident was filmed by Cartel del Sur and was subsequently published online. I cannot ascertain, however, as to what year the video was released. As you play the video, you are met with a sight of a victim who appears disheveled and has been severely beaten. His face is covered in blood, and it has stained his shirt. The video has been recorded at night in the middle of nowhere. All you see is the victim sitting on the ground facing the camera. He makes an address which goes as follows: "I'm Antonio. I work with the cripple, Shalonga, and with Nalgon. We sell crack, meth, and suddenly, we throw ourselves into a few rounds when possible. We rob stores and cars, and when possible, also conduct kidnapping and whatnot. We work. Well, we pay rent to the municipal, state, and judicial police, so that they let us work in the entire municipality, which is Tula, La Guapa, and all of that. There are 8 of us in this corporation. There is Cholo, there is Nalgon, there is Chivo, there is Charlo, there is FB, there is Chavo, there is Bueno. Right now, I don't remember all the names. All of the businesses that are, let's say, selling cars or goods, all that, they pay us the fee. As the statement is being read out, you see Sicarios point pistols at the victim's head as he is speaking. When he speaks, you see blood drip out of his mouth. His teeth look badly damaged. The person filming then states, "This is going to happen to all of the whores who go around shooting and barking at people in the streets." Before we get into the brutality, it's worth pointing out that online in some circles, this video has been described as a predator getting murdered by a local community. However, this isn't the case. Once the statement has been read out, the savagery begins. The video jump cuts, and you see a Sicario standing over the victim menacingly, while pulling his hair, forcing the victim to keep sitting up. In the other hand, he is carrying a metal object, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. It looks like a thin scalpel, or maybe a screwdriver. Immediately, the Sicario drives the thin pointy object directly into the victim's chest 2 to 3 times, extremely aggressively. This causes the victim to growl in pain. The Sicario wrestles the victim to the ground, and then repeatedly stabs the man in the chest several more times. The growls become increasingly more aggressive, and then turn into high-pitched wails. The killer then diverts and plunges the blade into the side of a man's neck several times. He then diverts again, stabbing the man several times in the heart area. The screams become louder and louder, the pitch in the victim's voice is breaking. It's horrific to listen to. The killer then places his foot on the side of the victim's head while he is still screaming, and this exposes the side of his neck. The hitman then plunges the blade into the side of a man's throat several times, possibly hitting the vocal cords as the screams then abruptly stops as this happens. The bladed object is quite thin and narrow, so this only exasperates and prolongs the pain in which the victim is going through. The hitman insults the captive as he continues to stab away maniacally. After each stab, you hear a horrific thudding sound. The video ends as the killer continues to stab away at the victim in a frantic manner. Number 2. Hacksaw Dismemberment. The following clip was released in and around 2019 and was believed to have been recorded by a criminal gang known as Grupo Sombra. Formed sometime around 2017, the Gulf Cartel splinter group, known as the Grupo Sombra Special Forces, or Fuerzas Especiales Grupo Sombra, is a ruthless criminal gang in the northern part of Veracruz, but also has a presence in the central states of Hidalgo and San Luis Potosi. Grupo Sombra is purportedly dedicated to drug trafficking, human trafficking, migrant smuggling, murders for hire, kidnapping, extortion, and oil theft in the areas in which they operate. The organization's members employ extremely violent tactics, often disseminating their actions via video or leaving the bodies of their victims on public roads. The group's main rivals appear to be the old school Zetas, Zetas Vieja Escuela and CJNG, with the latter rapidly gaining ground in Veracruz. In 2019, the group formed an alliance with the Santa Rosa de Lima cartel in order to take the fight to their rival CJNG. Grupo Sombra has sought the support of the local population by providing social aid. For example, the group was one of the various criminal actors that distributed goods during the first few months of the COVID-19 lockdowns, and even organised Children's Day and Mother's Day celebrations in the municipalities of the Huasteca region. Albeit a small cartel, Grupo Sombra have garnered the reputation of being an extremely violent criminal gang, and in their early years, released multiple graphic videos to get their message across. One such video is believed to be the hacksaw video in question. The backstory behind the clip isn't clear, but ultimately, it's your standard cartel murder video. The video itself is 4 minutes and 32 seconds in length, and is believed to have been recorded in Veracruz state. The quality of the footage is pretty poor, seemingly recorded on an old mobile device. As you play the clip, you are met with a sight of a captive who is on his knees, surrounded by multiple sicarios. The sicarios are wearing ski masks with skull patterns. The victim has had his hands tied behind his back, and his face seems to be wrapped in duct tape. Hitmen can be seen standing behind the victim, holding him up, while another stands beside him. The killer shouts the usual cartel-type insults before swinging a heavy-looking knife, hitting the victim in the front of his throat. He strikes the victim around 3 times before he collapses to the ground. The sicarios previously holding him up then pin him to the ground face first. Several hitmen then take turns kicking the prone man in the head extremely hard while aggressively insulting him. After subduing the victim, the sicario who hit him in the throat with a knife then changes tools. He takes a hacksaw and starts to slice back and forth on the back of the victim's neck, attempting to cut through the spinal cord. Blood immediately begins to puddle on the stony ground, and the hacksaw is surprisingly efficient at conducting the beheading. When the hacksaw blade starts to cut through the bone, it's very distinct. The sound is horrible. The teeth of the hacksaw cutting through the spine causes a horrible grinding sound. The blade is cutting through the neck incredibly quickly, and strangely, after about a minute into the beheading, the victim finally moves in a frantic manner. However, just around 10 seconds later, the hacksaw has now cut through the spine, and the beheading is essentially complete. A sicario then kicks the severed head away from the body like a football. It's worth noting, all throughout the beheading, the victim doesn't make a sound. The hitmen then dismember the body. The sicario who beheaded the victim starts by cutting off the arms at the shoulders. He is aided by his fellow hitmen who pull the arms to offer tension, which enables the sicario to quickly cut off both arms. The rest of the victim's body is then stripped naked. The hitman then cuts off both legs at the top of the thighs. Surprisingly, this doesn't even take that long considering the tool. Although by this point, the sicario can be heard huffing and puffing, he's becoming out of breath. By the end of the video, all you see is a pool of blood that has now soaked into the ground and stained the soil red, and a pile of bloody body parts. The sicarios admire their work, laugh, and cut out the rivals, and this is where the video ends. Number 3. A mysterious disembowelment. I've been sitting on this case for the best part of 2 years without ever covering it. The primary reason being, I have no idea where it is from, whether it is real, or who perpetrated it if it was real, or who made it if it is fake. The video has been described by some that it is from Mexico, though I have no idea. The only thing I will say is that the victim in the video does look of Latin American descent, though again, I can't be sure. This entrant on this video is more to see whether any of you guys have any answers as to where this clip actually originated. Somehow, it's actually relatively unknown. The biggest issue with the video is the lack of sound, which given the subject matter at hand, is probably a good thing. Though, the fact that it has no sound means we cannot obtain any clues leading to more information about the video. One of the common theories online is that the video may have been recorded in a prison. The only piece of solid information that I've ascertained from the video is that it seemed to originate online in 2019 and more than likely was first uploaded to the infamous website chaotic.com. In regards to the video itself, it is 52 seconds in length, and as mentioned it has no sound whatsoever. As you play the video, you are met with a rather chaotic sight. The sight of the captive on the ground seemingly being subdued by multiple people. The man has also been gagged with what appears to be a white cloth. Initially, it's hard to make out what is going on as the person filming is moving, creating a shaky cam type of footage. You then see that several of the perpetrators are lifting the captive's shirt, exposing his stomach. One of the captors has a long shiny knife that he appears to stab into the victim's abdominal area, and he creates an incision big enough to get a few fingers inside. The camera alternates between fixating on the gruesome act that is being carried out to showing the victim's face, which is etched in pain. You see him grimace and cry as he is being cut open. After a few seconds, you realise what is happening. The man with the knife is cutting the hole as mentioned, while another, wearing rubber surgical gloves, pulls foot after foot of a man's small intestine out of his body. It's utterly disgusting to look at. The camera keeps alternating to showing close-ups of the victim's face as this is happening. After a while, the person with the knife drops the tool and takes the intestines out and pulls out several more feet. Again, as this is happening, the victim, using one of his hands, tries to cover his wound and actually tries to stop his intestines being pulled out by grabbing at them. The video ends as it shows one final close-up of the victim's face, again etched in pain and on the verge of tears. Also, at the end, you realise that the clip has been recorded off a secondary device, so this version of the clip has been recorded while it is playing off another device, which may explain the no sound. Again, the debate is whether this clip is real or not. I can't tell, quite frankly, despite the amount of shocking videos that I have seen over the years. What I will say, if it is somehow fake, it's certainly a good fake. Regardless, the clip itself is very disturbing, and quite frankly, I'm intrigued about its origins and whether it is indeed real and where it came from, regardless of its authenticity. So if anybody has any answers in regards to this clip, please feel free to let me know in the comments below, or even get in touch. This one, without a doubt, is a lesser known gore mystery. So again, if anybody has any answers, let us know in the comments. But anyway, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it, if you can enjoy this sort of content. If you're new here, if you could hit the subscribe button, smash the like, that would be much appreciated. All that good stuff. By the way, my socials will be in the pinned comment. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can drop me a DM. That is definitely the best way to get in touch with me, although sometimes I am bad at monitoring my my messages. But yeah, is what it is. Anyway, as always, stay safe, and I'll catch you on the next one.